Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 21, Week 3. Power versus the flow. We got a lot of games to get through, so let's just get on
10
it.
seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Immediately, just the strategy, just banning what they picked last game. Very nice.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
DJ has come back at this point, which means that they're no longer down MMR. They now have their regular player again.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Interesting bands like the Visage. Pulling out the first pick Razor. I said it before, I'll say it again, do not like it.
Dire team back.
Disruptor.
Like I said, I think, when the hero is kind of struggling even at the pro level, or he is picked very frequently, he's struggling at the pro level, when statistically, it's not doing great for him. I feel like it's just such a risky first pick. I think he's very, I think at the pro level, this hero is kind of overrated right now. At the LD2L level, he is like a massively overrated guy, and they picked a great hero to deal with it immediately. Disruptor is just the exact antithesis of everything Razor wants, and it's really going to give him a hard time for a lot of the game.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Even after he gets BKB, the Disruptor potentially can build up the Ags and still be a big problem for him.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I look deep inside myself and I pray that that isn't power. Oh my god, I hope that's Chicago Bears at the very least. Okay, yeah, it's getting even worse. We're gonna Neeks Assassin here, which is Loading's most played hero. There's that. Loading is reps the least experienced player in the LD2L.
5 seconds
So
remaining.
finally getting a proper comfort hero. I thought he did alright last game. Interesting to see it this time.
Radiant team.
Good on you, mate.
Picking Largo on the other support. Power, or DJ it seems, is just seemingly just going straight like what the pros like right now.
5 seconds
Outside of the Neeks Assassin, which is more of a pub hero at the moment. Doing pretty good in lower level games, not doing so good in the higher levels.
Radiant team.
Serendipitously. Oh,
Special thanks to big_dog_Samai for the 5-month Prime sub.
5
wow,
seconds
text-to-speech
remaining.
really mangles your name, huh? Serendipitously, Neeks Assassin is, I think, pretty decent into the Weaver. A hero that, nah, it's not your fault, it's the text-to-speech's fault for being bad. There's some other funny things it does, trust me. And if you did it right, it'd still find some way to mess it up. Serendipitously, I think that Neeks is pretty good in the Weaver. Unfortunately, I think he's pretty bad in the Centaur. The Centaur has at least some ability, potentially, to get the Weaver out if Neeks Assassin doesn't get a literal insta-kill, which he will, or at least early on in the game. That's a non-zero possibility. On the other hand, for Razor, that's just like the worst news you can imagine. This is a crime against God.
Dire team back.
If the Razor had been like the last pick for this team, I would have told the captain to uninstall. That's how bad of a Razor game this is. Like, this is just the nightmare situation for him. I think the Slardar helps a little bit.
Radiant team back.
It's also nice against the Weaver Centaur. I think the Slardar is a smart pick. Generally speaking, the one downside is that it's pretty bad into the Disruptor, but Disruptor's just an annoying guy to like most of the roster. It's kind of the thing with the Disruptor, I think, is that at any given time, Disruptor is always going to be alright. You're rarely going to have an explicitly bad Disruptor game. He's going to be alright against most heroes.
Dire team pick.
Interesting to see the Zeus ban there by the power side. I would be shocked if you saw Neek's assassin in Slardar and you picked Zeus willingly. You got some real cajones, especially when the Pause one's going to be Lifestealer. It's a much better looking Lifestealer game than it is a Razor game, so I'm thanking God by name that's not him, but still a lot of things I don't like about it. Can be bad into the Disruptor. The Disruptor can definitely just raw drop ult on you, and with the Axe it can be really bad. The Viper? Okay, yeah, no, this is going to be a walk in the park for old Copeless, I think. It's great into the Centaur Warrunner. I think it's Lifestealer into Weaver is a poor matchup for the Lifestealer, but I don't think it's one that he's ever completely outclassed in. Like, he can pull it around, but like you just throw everything else in, it's just like so bad. Just into the Hoodwink, which is gonna break his passive when he's not enraged. The Disruptor, who can stop his rage. And most notably, the Viper is just like, oh my god. Like, that's the worst news a man could have as Lifestealer. Like, it was already bad enough. This new era of Viper, though, it's just, like, so much worse for him. It was already terrible. But, like, it's just, ugh. Big timeout draft on the part of the Radiant. I really don't see this going well for the Dire. And yeah, he does have the Caustic Bath. Yeah. Just a very good Viper game in general. I think it was a very effective last pick. It's good against their entire Tricore. It's not really afraid of the supports. Your Razor hates it, Lifestealer hates it. Really, if anything, you're almost spoiled for choice with who you decide to ult, because you can kind of ult any of these guys and be kind of happy with it. Damn.
30 seconds.
Racist. Oh! Uncaring Stone dropping the truth bomb in the chat.
I came a long way to see you die.
They're snagging your plans. Just to Doom, he insisted on Viper. Blue Jay was right, to be blunt. He should have insisted on Viper. This is such a good Viper game. I think it's a much better Viper game than it is a Doom. Because you don't need the whole Doom. You don't need the whole thing. You really just need the ult. The ult is all you need, and look at what it does for you. The Corrosive Skin Bath is way better this game than it was for Chicago Bears the last one. I think it's a really good pick. We're still on speed up. Whoops. Just did that to get to the lane phase, but... And you do have the sad thing, I feel like I'm always talking about this nowadays. This lane matchup between the Centaur and the Lifesteal, I think it's a very common LD2L matchup. This used to be like horrendous for the Centaur Warrunner, but again, it's not as bad anymore because the Feast, it only levels up, you know, once every 6 levels. You can't just immediately max into it and do 50% of his HP every time you auto-attack it, like you previously could. Interesting to see Toasty on the Largo. I'm not sure if Toasty is like played much of this hero. I mean, nobody really has. It's still pretty new. If anything, at the very least, I don't know how to call this lane. I think my gut tells me this should favor Slardar a little bit, but it's not going to be huge. It should be a competitive mid at the very least, leaning towards him. Copeless is looking for that black hole slam there. Spot lane, this should be easy straight from the Radiant. These guys have nothing to fear from Razor. The worst thing that's going to happen in this game, maybe, is Neeks queues up a pretty easy kill in the Disruptor for him. But I think these guys have 0 kill pressure on Sammy. This should be very easy for him. But then Uncaring Stone in chat up there did drop that interesting comment, which if true, may mean that doesn't matter anyway. It's only been 2 minutes, but the Radiant is already kind of running away with the last hits. Everybody is well above their counterparts. He's queuing up the steal. Very nice. At least I do like how he is contesting the parts of the lane that Razor cannot reach. And he is at least trying to go for the banner creeps and such, even if it's a kind of doomed endeavor.
You get nothing.
In fact, Slardar is getting annihilated in this lane. This is going much worse for him than I thought. Might change with more levels, but might not change with wards. I think he needs to, funnily enough, pull a play out of the Viper playbook if you're in a situation that looks like this, and build for a little bit more early. I think this, you know, the solution to this, something that could really help you here, is like getting like just like a couple of bracers in the lane that looks like this, making sure to keep regen on you. Early bottle would be good. Because Viper is giving him the business right now. I mean, look at that. He's almost dead. This is like a Batrider lane, like a 2013 Batrider lane. Looking at this. God, that was so long ago now. Don't make me think about that. Actually, he mostly got toasty. The funny frog having to step back. As a Sav on hand, we like to see this. Gonna be able to get right back into it. They are gonna make a go on Sammy here. Sammy does not have anything off cooldown and is just barely gonna be able to get done. Reverse the Flow though was able to cut through and actually gets the kill on the Neek's assassin to prevent the first blood. So there is that, but you're still probably not that happy. All things considered. The kill was very good. Getting first blood even was, oh no, they didn't get first blood actually. The kill was very good. It not being first blood kind of stings because this lane has 12 last hits. So loading's actually going to pop up here mid for some reason. Just throws a W on the Viper, walks away. What is going on here? I think he's hoping for DJ to do something. It's kind of hard to tell. Just gonna spam mind flares on him, I guess. It's going to stop the first Viper strike. It is going to stop him from just knocking off all of Slardar's HP here. So there's that. Yeah, he is in fact now out of mana. That's kind of an interesting play. Just sits there and gets rid of all of Viper's mana, so now he has to bring in regen. He, in fact, just brought his courier out, so now he has no chance of that. So even though he hit 6, Slardar actually has some power play for a while. That's kind of a funny strat. It's not gonna last that long though. It's, you know, the thing about Viper is you have low mana, you have low mana cost, so he will regen it fast. Power is going to go down here. It just takes a fight with Centaur while pretty low. I think overestimating perhaps his matchup. I think it is still pretty easy to overestimate what happens there. And to make it worse, the Centaur has just finished up a Vanguard, which makes him a lot tougher of a nut for that guy to crack. Oh, bot. Okay, good glimpse. Good glimpse. Good use of the time. Razor is out. He's just gonna run in nearly get the kill. Weaver did get very low doing that. It was a very high risk maneuver, but Weaver was, or Neeks was not able to get the kill on Weaver before Weaver was able to back off. Chew on a Tango, just get back up to full. Good, so just good play there from the Radiant.
You had me, didn't you?
Probably did think they had him. Last hits in the offlane, 14 Razor, 43 Weaver. I knew this was going to be bad. I think this is a little too bad. I think Chicago Bears is... We'll watch him for a little while, I suppose, but I think he's playing this lane just too passively. Like, you're going to not win this lane, but like, 46-15 is really bad. You know, your Razor, you have a pretty long-range attack, you have the big stupid hula hoop, but like, you should not be this far behind, even if your support's been out of the lane. Caught Centaur here, but again, with the Vanguard, the Lifestealer right clicks are merely a tickle right now. He's going to need more Feast to be able to do much to him. He's going on some adventure behind the lines. Centaur has picked himself up a Halberd, which is great against Razor and Slardar, and unfortunately completely useless against the hero he's laning against. One thing that's not useless against the hero he's laning against is the Hoodwink, who nearly gets a kill on the Largo there. What do you mean Slardar's tipping Blue Jay? What do you get tipped for? Oh, just the very casual ult on the Slardar as he's getting away. Slardar got a little out of himself here, just lost half his HP just on an attempt to get 1 W on the Viper. Not a great trade, to say the least. Lifestealer, okay, good comboing. Not gonna get the job done though. See what happens to Razor here. Yeah, again, look how far back away from the lane he is. Gets sent right into jail and annihilated anyway, so even the defensive positioning did not stop him from getting annihilated there. You know, that's just kind of the old halfwayism, like I don't really want to be in this lane, it's very dangerous at this point. The level 6 on the Disruptor made it dangerous for me. I don't want to be in this lane anymore, but yet also, okay, but yet also, I feel obligated to be here. Like, you really don't have to. You can absolutely just abandon ship on this lane. You're not going to be that effective anyway. I mean, you're a bad lane matchup anyway, you're down this far. Just let it go. Don't take the risk, just let it go. Do what you're doing right now. Find somewhere else to go that's more effective use of your time. And I mean, all that happened here is that Centaur just walked away, but you know, it was something at the very least. If you had gone mid, found the Slardar, or not the Slardar, but find the Viper with the Slardar, was not at home, it was looking at top. Definitely something to do up there.
Middle tower is under attack.
Viper is really one of your best matchups as a Razor. He is very bad at getting away from you. Yeah, it was a good Centaur pick. The Viper is very bad at getting away from you. You would have to have the Centaur ult there. So you really, if you're going to be out of this lane, you want to be bullying him. And I think if you had just not been in this lane at that point where they both hit 6 and you just got annihilated, maybe things are a little different. Nyx is going to be stewarding over this bot lane now, providing at least some opposition. Not much. Centaur is in the creep, or not Centaur, the Lifestealer's in the creep for some reason. They're like, this is a weird situation with the Centaur Warrunner where both guys are just kind of like trying to go on him and neither actually goes on him. Fight between Weaver and the Nyx at bot gets Weaver very low. Nyx as well, they both just limp away. Viper is, even though he's got his, the new facet, is going kind of an old school mid-Viper build with the travels into Hurricane Pike. I think the travels part is a mistake.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
LS should win that lane. I mentioned earlier, like, the situation is, like, a few years ago, before the reworks and everything, you could just go all in on your Feast and just be able to beat his ass and get like a billion HP and do alright. I don't think it's the case anymore. It's kind of a neutral lane now. Because now you only level up Feast every time you level your ult. And you don't really do that much to the guy when you don't have it. You can attack him a little quickly so you can beat yourself up more on his E if he's skilled that, which he did all the way to max. So you can use Ghoul Frenzy to beat him up a little bit more quickly. You can dodge a stun, and Open Wounds is pretty good against him, but wasn't leveled in this lane, so... It's also only a few seconds. It's not really enough time early game to do that much, and it feels really bad generally to do that. Razor gets a little excited here, goes behind the tower, finds 4 guys, and explodes. That guy is gone. He's done his dinner. It feels kind of like he's done his dinner in general in this game. Let's look at the net worth chart. Yeah, he's barely higher than Disruptor. This guy has fallen off the map. He's kind of in this awkward... He's in this awkward hesitation. He really should just have no business down here anymore. He's just like... The matchup against Weaver is already bad enough. Time has not made it any better, and now he's twice as valuable as a Razor. He's, what, 2 levels on him? Yeah. This guy had some solo lane time, and he's 2 levels on the Razor. Like, no, this is not happening. This Razor game is gone. Done as dinner. Again, and this is just a great demonstration of why I really just don't feel like you can, like, first pick this hero at an LD2L level. Again, it's kind of tenuous at a pro level, even. But you cannot do this first pick at the LD2L level. It's just the lane matchup was just so bad. And I think he was overconscious of how bad the lane matchup was, and it made things even worse for him. Looking at the Viper. They kind of dance around him awkwardly long. Get tied up by the supports. Oh, good shot by Hoodwink. The Slardar isn't doing much better. What? Oh, that's not real, is it? Okay.
Haste!
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I'll say that's gonna be awesome if I just get to leave like 50 minutes in this game where I don't really see... Well, I know the outcome, unfortunately. Got spoiled, which already makes the game worse for me to watch, but also, I don't see how the hell you can come back from the as a Dire, even at this point. 8k net worth advantage of 15 minutes is pretty killer. Like, you don't get many of those this patch.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
There are vaguely answers to the Weaver on the map. There are vaguely answers to the Centaur on the map, but they're both kind of hard answers even on a good day. There are... Well, I mean the Life Stealer into the Centaur. Like, you know, even if the lane isn't as good as it once was, in the long game, the Centaur is just going to get, you know, trashed. Or, yeah, in the long game, the Centaur is going to get trashed. Like, you know, level 0 of his facet... is an 8, isn't really going to do that much to Centaur, but once he gets it high enough, plus he gets the Open Wound Cement, it's like, he is going to really eat this guy. That's the good news for him, but like, the Weaver, the best thing they got against the Weaver is the Slardar, and the Slardar has a lot more problems right now. The Viper, they got nothing for. The Slardar is just whacking creeps looking for Blink Dagger here. I wonder if Couples has actually used the Halberd yet. Interesting to not go the Crimson Guard against this lineup, but I don't think Crimson Guard interacts properly with the static link. I think that just goes right through it. That would definitely make that a big part of the decision, I would guess, if true.
Dire's top tower
But I'm only pretty confident about that. I'm not 100% sure.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Life Stealer going for a Radiance, which is never coming. I mean, that is going to be a tough game to be Radiant in.
Dire's top tower.
You know, the really sad thing is that, like, in a game that looks like this, I don't think the boots of travel do much for you as a Viper. It's just I think it's a lot less necessary than it used to be, is the best way I can put it. Even though the map is bigger, the reason you got that is just to move around, farm quicker, and that's not really as necessary anymore. Basically just puts you behind one big item. But in the time it took him, like in the time he's been behind one big item, really, he's still an item ahead of like the contemporaries on the Dire. He's like, no, he's not behind them. Slardar gets some vision out on the Centaur, gets some vision out on the Radiant in general. Is looking to go in here. But counterattack, the Radiant actually finds the Neeks, just immediately claps in before the Slardar is able to go in.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Slardar finds the Weaver. He doesn't have sprint though. Kind of awkward. Should have probably waited a second for that to come back up. Weaver and tower just high-fived. Radiant is knocking over the Dire's mid T2 here at Blink Dagger. What the hell? It's a good thing you can win this game off of ult alone.
Middle tower is under attack.
Anyway. Dire's T2 mid is just casually getting knocked down with no defensive efforts at 18 minutes. The Dire are only just now arriving to try and do something about this. They're going to find tall balls and then all get together and die in the disruptor ult. Neeks is going to get a double stun, and they're going to get Blue Jay actually. He was getting punished for his very bizarre build. But it's about the only... Oh, they're going to get reverse blow as well. Okay, they might actually win this whole fight at this rate. Well, they're not going to kill the Weaver. He might get a kill in edgewise. No, he's going to... Okay. I was about to say he's going to go in and die before he gets anything done. He is going to barely live it. Chicago Bear is very likely to go down here. Big turnaround for him, but the Weaver and the Hoodwink are able to run him over. So what you learn from this is that if you have BOT, Blink Dagger, nothing as Viper, you're not very good at fighting, as it turns out. Weird how that one works. You're going to be just a walking ult, very dependent on the rest of your team to do things. But even despite that, it is still a 3 for 4. Which is a massive over 1k cold swing at this point, funnily enough. Really sad news they didn't kill the Weaver, but overall good for the Dire here. It's something.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
They're mobilizing around the bot T2 here. They're invading their own jungle as Radiant is kind of taking it over. The Razor is going to get caught on the back end, immediately gets ulted by the Viper. He's not even trying to link him, he's just simply running away. By the time he finally turns around to try and do something, Hoodwink just assassinates him and it's over. Like again, if you think you're going to go down, you would ideally want to at least make it the longest you can going down and just... The very least, sapping Viper's right-click damage is going to make chasing you, A, take longer, B, more dangerous prospect for him. Got a Centaur ult here, mostly just to give Weaver the stomping damage against the Slardar who's going to follow. So just 2 consecutive little picks here for the Radiant. Has Weaver died yet? 1 time, okay. And now Radiant are just knocking over the bot T2.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Centaur going for the funny cart. Where he can either hold Weaver for him to kill the whole team, or hold Viper for him to do no damage because he's a walking ult right now. Until at least like 2 items.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's got Ags is mostly done.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Razor's is going purely defensive.
Radiant's top
With
tower is under
Greaves
attack.
into a Crimson Guard. It's like he's playing Pit Lord or something. Which I guess, I mean, it makes some sense because it's like, this is such an unacceptably terrible Razor game. You're just gonna have a bad day no matter what you do, so you might as well just stack up a bunch of auras and be able to have some influence on things. But I don't know. Crimson Guard, when you really only have one right clicker who's going to break your armor and thus be a lot more dangerous, you know, than average anyway in that situation when you're a low strength hero. I don't know. Blue Jay gets the Aegis for some reason. Weaver almost immediately died for it. That would have been hilarious. Lifestealer jumped out there. Been bad. Weaver. In and out. Viper loses first life, immediately blinks out before anything else can happen. All they got for this entire Aegis was, oh.
Special thanks to Lernu for the 2-month Prime sub. Razor does damn by
True.
staying alive.
Shoutouts to Luff for the sub. All they really got for that Aegis was just a Razor who's already having the world's worst game anyway, so I don't know how much that meant. Vardar nearly gets out as Weaver just cleans out the Nyx in the back line. Razor links for like a third of a second before just getting run over. Lifestealer wants something for this. He has his Radiance now at the very least, but he gets nothing, baby. Yeah, Greaves Pipe I get. Greaves Crimson, a little bit less. Yeah, Greaves Pipe is a much better pickup this game with all that magic damage. I mean, after all, never forget, Centaur literally just has an ability that just turns his physical damage into magic damage. You got the Viper damage, you got the Disruptor damage. Not that great against the Hoodwink, but at least you're
Dire are scanned.
knocking off some of the Sharpshooter. Because all you get for the Crimson is just the Weaver. And again, he just blows up your armor, so he's going to do 1,000,000 damage anyway. A damage block really does not factor in at that point, especially when you don't have any strength. I mean, technically the Viper is also right-clicking you, but A, he doesn't have any damage on his right-clicks right now, so who cares anyway, and B, even when he does have damage on his right-clicks, a lot of that is going to come from, you know, the poison attack, poisoning you, which is a different type of damage than physical. At least till the much later part of the game. Like, for the majority of the game, he's mostly a magic damage guy.
The circle of death.
Weaver and Lifestealer taking a look at each other here in the GG jungle. Lifestealer following up the Radiance with SNY. 15k net worth advantage. Again, the Razor and the Slart are really just all the Dire cores with fuel gun at this point. Viper has just bought the entirety of Shiva's Guard. I don't know why he didn't want the Vela Disco, but he bought the entire Shiva's Guard. Nyx Assassin going in on Dagon. Oh, they found Viper as he was TPing out here. But they have the Centaur, and this team doesn't do anything against the Centaur. In fact, Radiant now launching a counterattack. They've caught Slardar in the Disruptor jail. They've knocked out Razor. Slardar is likely going to be able to live.
Dire's
And he is
top
going to get
tower
away
is
with
under
this.
attack.
Okay, Viper goes in like a very crazy way. Pops his Shiva's Guard, then instantly dies. Really not what he wanted to do. Weaver is going uphill, that psychopath almost loses all of his HP instantly. But still, all that said, 3-for-1 trade. It's really sad at this point that a 3-for-1 trade is basically even as far as the golden XP goes. Like gold is just a stalemate favoring Radiant.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
XP, it's more favoring Radiant. SMY nearly done on the Lifestealer. Pipe of Insight coming out on the Centaur. I guess it's going to soak up the Radiance damage. It's going to soak up the Razor ult damage, which we've really honestly not seen in fights. He's basically died at the beginning of every fight. It's going to soak up Lanique's Dagon, not going to soak up the Vendetta. Razor just stood there. Okay. He didn't even try, he just gave up. Just hands off the keyboard. MKB coming out for the Weaver. Looking to counteract the miss chance on the Radiance. Got some DD here. If that was him, yeah, I'd at least shake hands with this uphill T3. Oh, he actually overstays his welcome though. It's a little cocky there. He does get the tower, but he is going to go down for it. That is a godlike streak that just ended, so I imagine that's going to be when the fight recap decides to update itself. A lot of money changing hands. Nope, we're actually going to skip straight from the Weaver to the death of the Nyx Assassins. Let's see. Yeah, it's about a 2k gold swing. Trying to keep the momentum going, the Lifestealer has annihilated the Disruptor, but he gets ulted by the Viper, so he no longer can contribute for a little while. Sad for me, I don't want to really do it, but I think this is, whose branches are these? Whose branches are these? You never really want to do it per se, but I think Lincoln's on this game for the Lifestealer is kind of completely necessary. They don't have that great of ways of just casually getting off either. I think the only thing they've got that's really like disposable against it is the Disruptor Q. Double edge as well if you can get there, but unfortunately I think you're just going to kind of need it, because if you just get Viper Strick in this game as the Lifestealer, you do nothing in the fights. And that hasn't been a big deal thus far, because there hasn't really been that many fights thus far, all things considered, but going to, oh, nice assassination attempt there, but he's still able to just blink TP. With the fear of God into the Lifestealer, but he's going to be okay. Maybe get ulted by the Viper. He's like one of the best Viper Strike targets in the entire game. It doesn't care about his magic immunity, breaks his innate, it breaks his cool frenzy. He can't lifesteal, he hits like a wiener. He can't do anything about it with his normal bag of tricks. It is a great, great, great Viper Strike target. So I think you kind of need to do that. Tormentor is going to give a free boomerang to Hoodwink. Remember when this used to give decoy? I can't believe they thought that was a good idea. Viper going for Dispersion next. Interesting. Weaver is going, I believe, for his own Lincolns. Yep. Baiting out the Nyx stun there.
Radiant structures are
It's riding up mid here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Kind of positioning aggressively.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Dire now seeing Radiant pop up. Oh, seeing Radiant pop up in vision here, making a counterattack.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Starter with the Life Stealer inside, jumping on the Centaur. Centaur is just going to hit the funny button. Get out of town. Life Stealer actually TPs from the middle of this fight, so it's all over now. BKB reveal on the Slardar. That was just 9 seconds, and predicted may not go particularly anywhere for him. Yep. Slardar just gets completely annihilated. 1 for 3 overall, and the gold change is going to be useless because of how this went. The Razor did not even appear in this fight, and now he's just going to die for his troubles. Yeah, he's just standing there. Okay. Greg? Hello? My Razor is literally feeding. And he is right, this game is over. This game ended at like 15 minutes, but like... Greg, my Razor is literally feeding. He just got hit, he put the keyboard down, he walked away.
Dire's middle barracks, Dire's top barracks has fallen.
Largo gets caught, is the first to fall here. Assassination attempt on Largo accidentally hits Lifestealer instead. Get down, Mr. President. Neeks goes out, tries to do something or another, just gets slapped. Viper. Okay, never mind everything I was about to say. Never mind to that. Razor is going to try and do something here, but isn't going to get very far. Never even finished that Crimson Guard. He's going to call the G's. They're going home. Lifesteal is going to go down. She's going to mostly get Weaver here, but... Oh! Good bash, but close game. Toxic. Kaminoy. This is a draft disaster. No two ways about it. The good news is, at the very least, Power is on a later game hero, and he's playing like it, or at least building like it as well. Like I said last time, even if you think Clinks is going to be awesome at 50, 70 minutes, the way he was building the Clinks was not conducive to actually getting there. There was no way he was ever going to make, like, if, he's ever going to be outpacing the other 70 minutes. He has a bunch of fighting items that don't help him farm outside of the shard, and then doesn't, fight. This game, he's on the Lifestealer, which I think is a much more sensible hero for him, and he actually does a pretty good job this game. But, like, it is a gong show on the rest of the team, and the matchup is just so bad. Like, he has a very good performance as a Lifestealer in an impossible Lifestealer game. I wouldn't put this Lifestealer game on anybody. It's so unenviable, especially, just like I said, that matchup in the Viper is just hell on earth. You never want to see that. The only upside it really had was just going up after the Centaur. That was it. Just the world's worst Razor game. He had 0 impact on the game. No, that's not true. He had negative impact on the game, unfortunately for him. And there is a degree to which that was just a casualty of the pick. It was just so countered so hard. But a part of that is going to be, unfortunately, casualty of the play. There was a lot of hesitation in the early game. There was a lot of just, like, this weird act of, like, I know I shouldn't be here, but I want to be here type. I'm staying in this lane that is now really dangerous type behavior. I don't know. It just didn't seem like they had a hero in that role at all. The Slardar pick was creative, but it didn't really work out. There's just too much going against it. Like, it's just, like I said, the Weaver, not really adequately answered. There's things that annoy Weaver, there's things that can be bad for Weaver, but it's not really adequately answered by what the Dire brings to the table. Unless the Slardar and Nyx Assassin both have awesome games, which they really didn't. The Centaur You know, there's some answers to that on the Dire, but there's really nothing that stops the Viper. And even building very, very much just mobility only early game, building like the Dusty Paws 3 early game, or Paws 3 Sniper early game, even with that, it really didn't matter. You get it basically, like Viper Strike this game was basically Doom. There was no Lincolns or anything. Up. Oh. Hold on. Raising support? No, he just didn't do anything. It was Neeks and Largo as a support. It's funny, because somebody was DMing me saying that the Neeks Assassin had, like, no impact on this game, didn't do anything, but in actuality did pretty much as the Razor, which is the unfortunate thing. I don't know. I don't know. Can't do too much analysis on that particular part of the match for reasons that I can't disclose, but yeah, no. It's still the draft. It's still all about the draft on the power team, and it feels like it's not getting any closer. Feels like every time they take a step forward, they just go 2 steps back. You know, when they don't get countered out, they just pick stuff that doesn't need to be countered out. When they pick stuff that's good for them, it just gets countered out. I think ban strategy is going to be very important for them moving forward. Just banning out good heroes that like make sense for their lineup. And that's going to be big, and just remembering what the strengths are going to be big moving forward. So, in spiel, I don't want to stay here too long.